It's been a while. Um, this is a new design come up with. It's a wire straightener. On the top it says Harmonious Nature wire straightener. On the one end, it has embossed the four different size grooves: 12, 14, 16, 18 gauge. This is just a simple design, something to run your wire through when you're taking it off the spools, so it kind of somewhat gets it straight. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a lot better than trying to straighten this stuff by hand. Um, One thing you can do that I found, just take a piece of simple masking tape, put it on one end, and it acts like a hinge. That way, if you're kind of doing it with one hand, you can operate it with one hand and make things a lot easier. Okay, here's some 18 gauge, and this is a problem. If you want to make a small flat coil and you're taking this off this spool, you got this stuff, it's just all over the place. And when you try to measure out a straight piece, it's kind of hard when it's all curved. And so easiest thing to do is just kind of unspool some, okay, and then you want to use the smallest groove. So you just open it up, place this in there, close it down. Sometimes you got to kind of work it a little bit to get it all in the groove. Don't cut the wire off of the spool, because you're going to use the spool as like a handle to help you pull it. And then just slowly, you don't have to hold a lot of pressure on the lid, just make sure you keep it closed. And then just slowly pull the wire through. All the way out the end. And you'll see it takes a lot of the small kinks. You still have a little bit of a bow to it here and there. And the only thing that I can tell you is you're just going to have to keep going over it a couple times. And sometimes if you angle the straightener to the wire, you can take a lot of that, some of that bow out of it. See how I kind of got it angled a little bit in the bow coming up? Just kind of pull it through. And it's one of those things you gotta kind of play with it a little bit, and you gotta get the hang of it. It takes a little bit. Like I say, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than trying to do it by hand. And sometimes I'll just take my hand and go through here, take a little bit of the bow out of it, and make it a lot straighter. And there you go. That's the 18 gauge. Let's see here. Here's 14 gauge. It's a lot heavier, stiffer. Again, just unroll a foot and a half or so. So you got all these little bends in it here, and each one of those is going to throw your length off when you got to try to measure your flat cubit length. So this is 14 gauge. We're going to put it in here. Sometimes to get it started, you have to get long enough of a straight piece that it'll lay in the straightener when you put the lid down. And you want to make sure that the lid is closed all the way. There's not a gap around here in the seam. And just kind of hold the lid down so it doesn't raise up on you. And then pull with your spool. See how the wire coming out here is a lot straighter now? Don't have all those little bends. And boom. Again, you have a little bit of a bow to it, but all the little kinks and tight bends and stuff like that are gone. And a lot of times, like I said a few minutes ago, I'll just take my fingers, kind of run them down through here and massage it. Take a little bit of that bow out so it lays flatter. And there you have it. This will handle up to 12 gauge, 14, 16, and 18 gauge. 4 grooves Here's the bottom. Here's the top. Fit together. There's only one way that it can go together. You can't put it together if you have them reversed. There's only one way it'll go together. And that's it. Pretty simple, easy. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than wrestling around trying to do this by hand, working out all the little kinks and dips and everything else so you can measure your wire. All right, till next time.